فاطمة الزهراء السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال سمعت فاطمة عنها قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت عليك السلام قال إني عجزت في بطني ضعفا فقلت له أريدك بالله أعباته من الله وقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وسرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلعلع كأنه ينظر في ليلة تمامه وكماله فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن عليه السلام قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمة فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال يا أمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدة يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك فدخل معه تحت الكساء فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين عليه السلام قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمة فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال لي يا أمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدة السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله وتعذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك فدخل معهما تحت الكساء فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله فقلت نعم ومع ولدك تحت الكساء فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله تعذر لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء قال وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسيي وخليفتي وصاحب لوالي فأذنت لك فدخل علي تحت الكساء ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أباته يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي قد أذنت لك فدخلت تحت الكساء فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء ووضع بيد اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم من أحب لمن هاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم إنهم مني وأنا منهم فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى
فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا أرض مبنية ولا كما منيرا ولا شمس مزيعة ولا فلك يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا في محبتي هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال العمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فقال جبرائيل يا رب أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله الذي لا يكرهك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا سمرية ولا قمر منير ولا شمس مضيعة ولا فلك يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا ليسركم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله وقال رسول الله عليه السلام يا أمين وهي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك فلا جبرائيل معنا تحت الكيساء فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما جلوسنا هذا تحت الكيساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله والذي بعثني بالحق نبي واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من جهتنا ومحبين إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبي واصطفاني برسالة نجي ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبين وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وكزى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وسودنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسودوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Now I would like to request Fazal Rizvi to give a brief review of the previous session by Muhammad wa ali Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
In this brief review of this previous session, I will try to summarize Brother Zain's lecture, and I will cover the part of demand of allegiance from Imam Hussein by Yazid, which couldn't be discussed due to time restraints. In last lesson, Brother Zain talked in detail about circumstances outside of the Prophet peace be upon him faced immediately after Prophet Muhammad. Abu Sufyan, Muawiyah, and later on Yazid claimed that there was no revelation, no divine system of guidance, and Banu Hashim had created these to rule Arab world. Muawiyah didn't accept Imam Ali's caliphate and stayed governor of Syria despite being removed from post of governor by a caliph. He fought wars with Ali and later on signed a peace treaty with Imam Hussein and agreed not to appoint his successor after him and will give that caliphate to Muslims to decide caliph. However, he breached the treaty and before Muawiyah died, he appointed Yazid as his successor. Yazid, in order to assure his kingship, he needed the submission of influential people. He ordered the governor of Medina to take the allegiances of Imam Hussein alayhi salam right away, and if he refuses, to kill him. The governor immediately sent a deputy to call Imam Hussein. As soon as Imam Hussein came inside, the governor told him straight out, "You have to pay allegiance to Yazid." Imam Hussein replied, "A person like me should not pay allegiance secretly. If you want, you can call all the people in public and ask everyone and us with them to have our one voice." The governor accepted, but his secretary Marwan warned him, "If he leaves you and does not pay allegiance now, you will not have power over him again. Put him in prison until he pays allegiance or kill him." Imam Hussein said, "Whoever of you kills me will be sinful and untruthful." Then to the governor he said, O governor, we are the people of Prophet's house, and we are descendants of the Prophet. Yazid is a drunkard who kills people without reason, and a person like me does not pay allegiance to a person like him. However, let us meet in the morning and let us see, you and us, who is most eligible for leadership. After the incident, the Imam visited the graves of his grandfather and mother and decided to leave Medina for Makkah. Imam left Medina on 28th Rajab for Makkah along with his family and some friends.
Thank you.
اللهم صل على محمد.
So we are honored to have Brother Muhammad Abbas Mirji today, speaker, and he will be presenting the second session of the Understanding Karbala, which is from Imam Hussein's departure up to the events and circumstances that led to postponing his Hajj to Umrah, and then he moved towards Karbala. Just a quick reminder, it will remain as an interactive session as it was in the previous one. However, when the kids are asking questions, please tell your name first. In last session, we give cash prizes. This time we have changed a bit. There are 5 books which will be given to the 5 best questions. So because we will be recording the questions, so I would request you, when you ask questions, please tell your name first so we can record it and we move on in the program. Now I would request Brother Abbas Mirji to start.
I think we should call kids.
Yeah, sure. Please come forward and we're going to move backwards.
Yep.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. My respected elders, brothers, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Inshallah, you're well, right? Guys, I'm sure, have you eaten dinner or not yet?
No.
Not yet. Okay, I thought so. Because you all look really tired. You have school today or school holiday started?
School holiday started.
Started today, first day?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Right. Right. How many of you really wanted to come here today? You can say you didn't want to. Very good. It's good to see you. Alhamdulillah, it's very nice to be part of this gathering. Very great initiative, mashallah, by, I think, Brother Abbas, have you initiated this program?
So we have a stream called AlSiraat Academy for Quranic Sciences. So one of the stream is Understanding Karbala in all its aspects. So it's going to continue first six sessions.
Yeah.
And then it will continue as Gems in Islam and Prophet History.
Right.
Something
Mashallah.
that we can hear and follow in the life.
That's brilliant, mashallah. So I think a great initiative because our parents, they think about us as the kids, right? They think about that. What do you people need? You need food, you need water, you need to go to school, you need to play sports. But at the same time, you also need Islamic knowledge, right? So they had this concern and they organized this program. So it's a really good initiative. Let me share with you a few stories first before we start off. So once the Holy Prophet of Islam was sitting with his companions, maybe like this. And he tells them, Badiru ila riyadul Jannah, rush towards the gardens of paradise. So the companions were to the Holy Prophet, where are these gardens? Give us the address, we'll Google it. Was there Google at that time? No, there's no Google, so I thought that was a joke. You should laugh. So they asked the Prophet, where are these gardens of paradise? So the Prophet ﷺ replied, Hilaqul dhikr, any gathering where people gather to discuss Islamic knowledge, to discuss about Allah, to discuss about the Ahlul Bayt, where Quran is recited, where Hadith al-Qisa is recited, Prophet ﷺ says that gathering is a garden of paradise. Yes.
Does that mean we're in the garden of paradise right now?
Yes, very much so. The only difference is this is a garden of paradise that can only be seen by our spiritual eyes, not with our physical eyes. Someone like the Holy Prophet, some of them like the Imams, they had this spiritual vision. They could see the reality of actions. So if we could see the reality of our actions, we would see ourselves sitting in gardens of paradise. This, a gathering like this. So these are very, very special. Number one. Number two, our sixth holy Imam. What's our sixth Imam's name? Yes? MashaAllah. Allahumma salli. So Imam says that I would like to see my community, meaning my Shias, my followers, doing one of two things in their life. Doing one of two things or both of them. Either the youngsters or the youths or the teenagers or the elders or whoever. If you are my Shia, if you are my follower, I would like to see you doing one of two things always in your life. You know what those things are? One Imam says, I'd like you to see you in a state of learning. That you're always learning. You're always asking questions. You're always going to lectures. You're always reading books. And the other thing is you're teaching. Either you're teaching or you're learning or you're doing both. Right? So mashallah, you guys are amazing coming here to learn. How many of you were there in the last session? Okay, sorry. How many of you weren't in the last session? Just raise your hands high up. So one, two. Okay. Okay, that's okay. So these gatherings are really important. And one last story. It's not a true story. It's not a true story, but it's a nice story. Okay. One day, Shaitan held a meeting with other Shaitans. You know, Shaitan has an army.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
So he had a meeting with other Shaitans. So he asked them, can you tell me what you guys have done to misguide human beings? So one of them, he says, oh, I sent that guy to go and listen to haram music. I sent that one to go and kill somebody. I sent that one to go and steal. All these big things. But Shaitan said, no, that's not good enough. I'm not happy with that. The big Shaitan, I'm not happy with what? Killing someone, stealing from someone, I'm not happy. Then there was a small mini Shaitan sitting in the corner. The big Shaitan's asking, what did you do? He said, oh, I didn't do much. I'm feeling ashamed to say, I didn't really work hard. What did you do? He said there was a boy who it was his time for his madrasa to go to school to learn Islamic studies. He said, I put it in his mind not to go. And he acted to his parents that he doesn't want to go. And he didn't end up going to madrasa to learn. The big Shaitan said to the small Shaitan, you have done the biggest thing. You've done the greatest job. Why? Because when a young person like yourself learns about Islamic knowledge, learns about the religion, it's like a defense against Shaitan. Shaitan can't attack you. Does it make sense? It's like a shield. So learning about Karbala, learning about the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam is a really powerful tool. Anyway, yes?
Does it mean that Shaitan's army isn't it other evil angels or something like, or is it like people or something?
No, they're not people. We can't see them. We can't see them. You know, at times the bad thoughts that we get, let's say it's time for your parents tell you something and in your mind it says, oh, tell your parents this, lie to your parents, do this, do that. These bad thoughts that come to your mind, sometimes Shaitan plays with us like that.
But what form are they? What are they? Are they angels, persons?
No, they're not angels. I don't know what they are, but they're not human beings, they're not angels. But we can't see them. Okay? I don't know what they are. If you meet one of them, you let me know. Anyway, inshallah, let's move on to the discussion for today. And that is about understanding Karbala. Now, how are you? Nice to see you. Right, let's look at a quick outline. Now I'm going to be speaking really fast with some points. I want you to listen fast as well. Okay? Now, first things first, as the brother very eloquently summarized the session from the last time, Muawiyah passes away and Yazid, his son, becomes the caliph. Okay? If you don't understand any of the words that I've used, please raise your hand. I'll try and explain it. Okay? Yes?
Yazid's son?
No, Muawiyah's son. Muawiyah's son, his name is Yazid. Okay? So if you can't remember the names, it's okay. Don't worry about the names too much, but these are bad people. So Muawiyah's son, Yazid, becomes the caliph. So we want to talk about We want to talk about, inshallah, Yazid asking Imam Hussein alayhi salam for allegiance. And then when this happens, Imam Hussein alayhi salam decides to leave Medina, his holy city, the city where he was born, the city of Rasulullah, the city of his mother. He decides to leave Medina. And we want to look at why Imam Hussein alayhi salam decides to leave Medina. And then Imam moves from Medina and he goes to Makkah. Question. From Medina to Makkah. Have you guys been for Umrah?
My dad went to Umrah like this month.
Really, mashallah, very nice. It's a very good experience. Yes.
I went to Umrah.
Mashallah. So you know where Medina is. You kind of know Medina, Makkah. Where's the Kaaba? In Medina or Makkah?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, Medina.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Kaaba, when we see that is in Makkah. Very good. When people go for Hajj, when we hear the name Hajj, that's when they go to Makkah. So these are cities in today's Saudi Arabia. I've got a map I'll show you as well, so you guys get an idea. So Imam alayhi salam leaves Medina to go to Makkah. Imam spends some time in Makkah. What does the Imam do in Makkah? Imam Hussein alayhi salam, we want to discuss. Next, Imam Hussein alayhi salam sends one of his representatives to a place called Kufa. Right? This is in today's Iraq, today's Najaf. We'll discuss why Imam did this and what led to Imam sending his representative there. And finally, Imam decides to leave Makkah. Why did Imam leave Makkah is something we want to discuss. Question. Why are we learning about Karbala? And the other, I want you to include this in your answer. If I didn't know about Karbala, let's say I didn't know about Karbala, what difference would it make? See, someone who has never learned how to count in his life, he's never learned maths, he's never learned science, he's never learned English. He's going to really struggle in life, yes? What if someone doesn't learn about Karbala? What difference does it make? Yes?
He'll struggle in the hereafter.
What do you mean he'll struggle in the hereafter?
He'll go to hell.
Okay, so if someone was blind, he was deaf, and he didn't know about Karbala, he didn't know, will he go to hell? Will Allah send him to hell because he didn't know about Karbala?
Matters.
Sorry?
It matters.
Why does it matter is the question. So why are we here? What are we? We're going to spend, inshallah, an hour, for half an hour. I'm going to be talking, prepare slides. You guys have come here to learn. Why are you learning is the question. Is it a good question or not a good question?
Very good question.
Maybe I should get the book. One book is one for me. Why are we learning this? Yes, brother. To get reward. But you know, you can sit at home next to your PlayStation and you know tasbih.
Yeah.
Just sit at home, have popcorn, Allah. And you get sawab, you get hasanat, you get reward. Yes, you get reward for that. Why do we need to come? Why do we need to learn? Why do we need to... Yes, brother.
Because like you said, Allah wants you to always do the two things, either be learning or teaching.
That's a very good answer. That's a really good answer. Did everyone hear that answer?
Yes.
So one of the responsibilities that we have as the lovers of the Imams, we're all Shias, yes?
Yes.
One of the unique things about the Shias, the special thing about Shias is they love to learn about Islam. So that's one. Our Imams expect us from this. If Imam Mahdi Farajul Sharif was here, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala, he would be asking us, how well do you recite the Quran? MashaAllah, brothers recite the Quran and Hadith al-Kisab, beautiful. Do you know how to recite the Quran? Do you understand the Quran? You know, you need to learn. So that's one thing. What is another more important thing? Yes.
To know about Karbala, to spread it to others.
Okay. Once I spread it to others, then what?
They spread to other people.
And then what?
And then the population grows and grows faster.
Okay. And then let's say the whole world knows about Karbala. Okay. Let's say the whole world knows about Karbala. So what? Look, boys, one message to take from this first discussion. Whenever we learn in Islam, there's a reason why we're learning. We got to take that knowledge and then apply it in our lives. Are you listening? Take the knowledge and apply it in our life. Let me give you an example, an easy example for you to understand. Imagine you are really sick and you go to a doctor. Doctor gives you a bottle of medicine to have every day after meals, after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner, you go to take the tablet. After 2 weeks, you go to the doctor and he asks you, are you okay? Are you feeling better? He said, no, not really. He said, have you been taking the medication? He said, every day after breakfast, I take the bottle and I read the label. After lunch, I take the bottle and I read the label. After dinner, I take the bottle and I read the label. The doctor asked, did you take the tablets? No. What's the point? Knowledge in Islam, without acting on that knowledge, can be very dangerous. Right? So the reason why we're learning about Karbala is Imam Hussein alayhi salam is our role model. You and I want to become like Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Is that clear? Right? Imam Hussein's footsteps, you and I want to follow the footsteps of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. You and I want to follow the footsteps of Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam. Right? You and I want to follow the footsteps of Janab Qasim, young 12, 13-year-old boy. These are our role models. So we learn about the Imams, we want to be like that. Does that make sense or no? If it doesn't make sense, recite the salawat, please. Do you hear what I said? I said if it doesn't make sense, recite the salawat anyway. All right, let's get into it quickly, inshallah. Very quickly. If you don't remember the dates, you don't remember the names, no problems. Okay, that's not. We're not here to remember the details. It's just the whole idea. Now, number one, Muawiyah dies. Muawiyah was a really bad guy. He dies exactly on the 15th of Rajab. Yes.
Do we celebrate that day?
No, we don't celebrate that day. We don't celebrate that. Good question. Let's keep it there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't want to add more to that. Very good question. So Muawiyah dies 15th of Rajab. As soon as this was discussed in the last session, as soon as Muawiyah dies, he transfers his leadership, his caliphate, to his very bad son Yazid. Right? So this is the name Yazid that we want to keep in mind. Right? Yazid was really bad. He was only 34 years old when he became the caliph. Yes.
Yazid was his name was like based on his uncle, Muawiyah's brother.
That's correct. Yes, mashallah. This was discussed last session. Beautiful, very good. Good memory, very good. Right. So Yazid becomes the caliph at the age of 34. Question. Yes. No, I want to ask a question. You guys asking me a very hard question. Yeah? Remember your question. I'll come back to you. Okay. Before, what does it mean that Yazid becomes the caliph? What does caliph mean? Like, what does he do? What's his job? Yes, brother?
So he's like, the leader, I guess.
But leader like what? Like Imam Hussein is caliph, Imam is leader. Yazid is caliph, Yazid is leader. Is it like the same thing?
Because
sorry?
Because the Imam would follow the Imam.
Okay.
Even
Okay. So what's his job? What's the caliph's job? Yes?
To lead people and to tell them what to do and to take like to govern areas and do all that.
Very good. Yes, brother?
It's kind of like a prime minister, like you could follow it, but you wouldn't like follow them to death. But like an imam, you would follow them to like death.
MashaAllah, very nice. But when these people were taking over the caliphate, this is a position, right? Here today we call it president, prime minister. That time they call it caliph. These guys were not only responsible for the political side of things, but they were calling themselves the leaders of the faithful people. This is a very important point. This is a super important point. You can't forget this. When they were taking off the caliph, when Muawiyah was the caliph, he was showing off to people like he's a sheikh. He's the leader of the Muslims, right? So the way I pray, you should pray. What I say about religion, you should follow. So they started acting as authorities in religion. At the same time, they would colonize people, they would oppress people, they would be ruling over people, right? So I just want you to understand the role of the caliph. Does that make sense? Now, Yazid becomes the caliph at the age of 34. There's a difference between how Muawiyah was running the caliphate and how Yazid would run it. This was discussed last week. I don't want to, maybe it'll come later on. Now, as soon as Yazid becomes the caliph, one of the first things that he does, he keeps all the ministers that his father had in Kufa, in Basra, in Medina. All of the ministers, he kept them the same. He didn't want to change them. Why? Because he's really young. Yazid is only 34, right? So he kept all his caliphs. He didn't want to mess the caliphs, the governors of the cities around. He says, the first thing I want you guys to do is to go and demand the oath of allegiance from the heads of the Quraysh. Quraysh was the tribe. Remember the last session was discussed, right? The Quraysh, the Prophet ﷺ was from Quraysh, the Imams are from the tribe of Quraysh. First, I want you to go and get the oath of allegiance. What does oath of allegiance mean? We've heard this. In Arabic, it's called bay'ah. What does oath of allegiance mean? Yes?
When you put your trust under someone.
When you put your trust under someone, yes, one side of it, very good. What else? Anyone knows what oath? So this is what oath of allegiance means. Yazid is trying to tell Imam Hussein that I am now the leader of the Muslims. I am now the boss of this empire. What I say, you have to follow. Is in a short form, meaning Imam Hussein would have to follow everything that Yazid does politically and in the name of Islam. That is oath of allegiance. Oath of allegiance, I shake hands with you and say, yes, you are the boss. I will follow you. You are the leader of the Muslims. So Yazid said, go and demand from Hussein alayhi salam. Let's see what Imam Hussein alayhi salam responds. So long story short, they call Imam Hussein very forcefully into the palace of Imam was in Medina, remember? They call Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Yazid says to Walid, if Imam Hussein refuses, look how messed up he was, 34 years old. If Imam Hussein refuses, behead him. Do not let him leave your palace until you've gotten him to give you his pledge of allegiance. Who is this Imam Hussein alayhi salam? The grandson of Rasulullah. Who is Imam Hussein alayhi salam? That the Prophet ﷺ says that Hassan and Hussein, Imam Hassan and Hussein are the leaders of the youth of paradise. Who is this Imam Hussein alayhi salam? That when the Prophet ﷺ used to give a speech in the mosque, and Imam Hussein were really young boys, and they would fall down in the mosque, Prophet ﷺ would get up from his chair and go and carry them. Imam Hussein, who are these boys? Who are these young personalities? One who Prophet ﷺ used to kiss them all the time out of love. Who is Imam Hussein alayhi salam? Who the Prophet ﷺ says, Husseinu minni wa ana min al-Hussein. That Hussein is from me and I am from Hussein. So Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein are like super special imams. They're chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Yazid says, if Hussein refuses to accept my caliphate, me being the caliph, behead him. Long story short. Yes?
What's behead?
Oh, sorry, I should say. Behead means killing. Short form?
Decapitated.
Killing, yeah. So they were really bad, these guys. Right? They were really bad.
Decapitated.
Yes. They said, just kill him. Don't let him leave your palace until you've gotten him to say. Anyway, well, look what Imam Hussein says. I've got this in Arabic here because these are the words of Imam Hussein. What does Imam say? I'll read it in Arabic and translate. He says, Inna ahlu baytin nubuwa, Inna ahlu baytin nubuwa wa ma'adini risala. He says, we are the family of the Prophet. Right? In Hadith al-Kisa, what do we read? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I have not created the heavens and the earth and the seas and the skies illa li ajli ha'ula'i al-khamsati, except for the love of the Ahlul Bayt. All what we see in the universe has been created because of the love of the Ahlul Bayt. So Imam Hussein is telling Walid that we are the family of Rasulullah. Angels have descended to us. With us, the religion started of Islam. through the Prophet ﷺ, right? And with us, the religion will end. And who is Yazid? Who is this man who is asking me to pay allegiance to him? Look what he says. Yazidun rajulun fasiqun. He's a corrupt individual. There's no goodness in him. There's no goodness in him. He's a really evil, bad guy, right? Sharibul khamr, drinker of alcohol. This is something that the Holy Prophet had clearly said is haram. Clearly the Prophet said, forbid this alcohol. Yazid is someone who openly was drinking alcohol. And he was saying that I'm the leader of the Muslims. Can you see the difference between Imam Hussein and see what Imam Hussein is bringing to light? Then he says, وَقَاتِلَ نَفْسِ الْمُحَرَّمَةِ. Yazid would kill innocent people like a joke. Something that would annoy him, he'd say, kill this person. This is Yazid. مُعْلِنٌ بِالْفِسْقِ. This is a very important point. He would do the bad things in public. So when people would look at the Yazid, they'd say, this is the leader of the Muslims. He's doing something wrong like this, then it might be right. Because Yazid is doing this, it might be correct. So Imam is saying that Yazid is a person who does bad things openly. And this is the powerful line from Imam Hussein. I want you to all remember this and maybe repeat after me. Right? Imam says, Mithli la yubayi'u mithla. Maybe repeat after me. Mithli la yubayi'u mithla. Three words. Mithli la yubayi'u mithla. What does it mean? Imam is saying, someone like me, someone like Hussein, will never pay allegiance to someone like Yazid. Now, this is a line I want you, if you don't remember anything from the talk tonight, but you remember this line in red, that's enough for tonight. Why is it enough? What is Imam alayhi salam saying? Yes.
Imam Hussein saying that Yazid is a very bad person.
Yes.
And he will never pay allegiance to him.
Very good. That's good. But Imam is saying, is it Imam saying that Hussein will not pay allegiance to Yazid, or is Imam saying something more than that? Yes?
A person like who will never obey him like this.
That's the beautiful answer. A person like Hussein will not pay allegiance, will not befriend, will not shake hand, meaning accept a person like Yazid. So what we need to do in our time today, we want to be like Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Yes or no?
Yes.
Who doesn't want to be like Imam Hussein? No, of course not. Everyone, we want Imam Hussein as our role model. Right. But at the same time today, we have people like Yazid. We have lifestyles like Yazid. Are you seeing where this is going? So you and I, we want to be like Imam Hussein alayhi salam. But there are people today who are like Yazid. So we need to tell ourselves that I will never accept what people like Yazid are doing today. Question, where are people like Yazid? For example, alcohol is being served somewhere. Is that a Yazidi thing or not? Yazid. Of course, it's a Yazid. Someone like Imam Hussein will never accept something that Yazid does. So we stay away from it totally. Music. Is it a Yazid thing, haram music?
Yes.
Yes. Going to parties and all this kind of thing. Is it a Yazidi thing? Yes. Imam Hussein said, someone like me who wants to become like Hussein will never accept something that Yazid does. Is that clear? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The other thing that Imam Hussein also says, he says, wa ala al-Islam salam. If Imam Hussein pays allegiance to Yazid and accepts Yazid, say Khudafiz, say fi amanillah, farewell to Islam, because there will not be any Islam left if Imam Hussein accepts Yazid. Why? Because Yazid was doing all the un-Islamic things openly. So if Imam Hussein would side and befriend and accept what Yazid does, there would not be any Islam. Right? So Imam says, wa ala al-Islam salam. If Imam Hussein pays allegiance to Yazid, Islam is gone. And this is not something that Imam Hussein alayhi salam would accept. Inshallah, clear? Right? So this is this point is, why did Imam Hussein alayhi salam stand up against Yazid? Question. Imagine this. Imagine if Imam Hussein alayhi salam would have gone to Yazid and told Yazid, Yazid, look, leave me to be in the mosque. There's a big mosque here. Leave me to be in the mosque and I will teach my Shias about Islam. Don't disturb me. You do your thing, let me do my thing. Wouldn't that be like a pretty good deal? What do you guys think? Yes.
No, because he could just destroy the mosque or.
No. Imagine Yazid say, I won't destroy the mosque. I'll protect. I'll keep nice carpets for you.
Wouldn't he be corrupt enough to destroy the mosque?
No, let's say he wouldn't destroy the mosque. There were mosques that he didn't destroy, right? So let's say Imam says, don't destroy this mosque, keep the mosque. Yazid said, I'll furnish it for you, beautiful carpets, I'll put air conditioning for you. You do your thing in the mosque. What's wrong with that? Why didn't Imam Hussein alayhi salam use that approach? Yes, brother?
Because someone like Yazid wouldn't be happy with that.
Why wouldn't Yazid be happy with that?
Because he wants bad stuff to happen.
Like what?
Like people drinking alcohol.
Okay. Yeah, good answer. Yes.
If he does that, then people might think that he's accepted Yazid, and they might think that what he's doing is right.
You're really smart, man. What's your name?
Abbas.
Abbas. No wonder, mashallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali. Did everyone hear his answer? Yeah, Imam Hussein would have said, you know what, I want to be in the mosque, I want to teach people Quran, I want to teach people Hadith, I want to teach people how to pray and fast. Let Yazid do his thing and I will be safe here, love, we live a beautiful life. No, Imam Hussein, that doesn't work, because Yazid was representing himself as the head of Islam. Yazid's lifestyle was totally opposite to the prophetic lifestyle, the lifestyle of the Holy Prophet. If Imam Hussein would have let Yazid do his thing, everyone would have turned their face and said, this is the Islam that we need to follow. Imam cannot accept that. Right? Remember, this was only 50 years after Prophet ﷺ passes away. Only 50 years. Prophet ﷺ brings a religion and Yazid changes the whole religion. In 50 years' time, he totally changes it. As the hadith says, whatever the Holy Prophet made haram, Yazid said this is halal. They made big changes. Imagine this. Imagine this. Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, in our hadith books, we hardly have many riwayat for the sayings of the Imam. Maybe in the future, if you're studying, you'll probably realize this. From Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, there are very few ahadith that we have. Why? Because the enemies, Muawiyah and Yazid, had destroyed all these sayings of the Imam. Very little sayings from Imam Zain al-Abidin, our fourth Imam. Because the enemies had destroyed the teachings of the Holy Prophet. So Imam Hussein says, no, I cannot be quiet with this guy. If I'm quiet, say Salaam Alaikum, say Khudafis to Islam. We would have not been here if it was not for the sacrifice of Imam Hussein uprising. Are you seeing why Imam Hussein stood up against Yazid? Inshallah, it's making sense now? If it's not made sense, recite Salah. Anyway, recite Salah, please. Allah. Now, Imam alayhi salam's life is at risk, is a threat. It's only been 2 weeks since Yazid has come to power. They are after Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Imam refuses to give bay'ah. He says, no way. Mithli la yubay'u or mithla. What does Imam Hussein alayhi salam do? Very heavy heart, very sad. Imam alayhi salam decides to leave Medina, his hometown, the hometown of his grandfather, the hometown of his mother. What does Imam Hussein alayhi salam do? The reports say that he first goes to say his salams to Rasulullah. He goes to the grave of his Holy Prophet. The love between Imam Hussein and the Holy Prophet was super strong, was like a really strong love. Imam alayhi salam goes to the grave of Rasulullah. And Imam cries for Rasulullah, the hadith says that, oh Holy Prophet, I'm leaving this city. This is the city where I've grown. These are the city where my memories are. But I need to leave because my life here is at risk. These guys are going to kill me. The report said that Imam Hussein cries so much and he falls asleep. Rasulullah comes to his dream. Now, when the Imams and Prophets get dreams, they're not like our dreams. Right? Our dreams are like random. They're like, it doesn't make sense. When the Imams get dreams, these are real, true messages. Can you give me an example of one prophet?
Prophet Ibrahim.
I'm going to finish the question, but spot on. Very good. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? He says, Inni ara fi manami an adbahuk, that I'm seeing, he's telling Prophet Ismail that I'm seeing that I am going to be taking you, killing you. Prophet Ismail didn't say, I think that was a nightmare you had. No, prophets don't get nightmares. These are revelations from God. These are inspirations. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, at the by the grave, Rasulullah starts crying, falls unconscious, sees Rasulullah in his dream. In the dream, the report said that Prophet ﷺ is hugging Imam Hussein alayhi salam, his beloved grandson. Right? What does Prophet ﷺ say to Imam Hussein alayhi salam? He says, Habibi ya Hussein, oh my beloved, oh Hussein. Ka'anni araka an qaribin minni. I see you that you're coming very close to me. Very shortly, you will be meeting me. But how are you going to be meeting me, O Hussein? Murammalan bidima'ik. You're going to be soaked in your blood. Rasulullah is telling Imam Hussein alayhi salam, you're going to be soaked in your blood. Bi-ardi karbin wa bala, in a land called Karb and Bala, in a land which is full of grief and sorrow. Look at the detail in this dream. This is an important point, okay? Okay, then he says, وَأَنْتَ مَعَ ذَلِكَ عَطْشَانٌ لَا تُسْقَى وَظَمْآنٌ لَا تُرْوَى. And in this state, O Hussein, you're going to be thirsty, and no one will quench your thirst. So, Imam Hussein alayhi salam was very clear what's going to be happening to him. There are certain people, unfortunately, who maybe the respected brothers here would know, there are certain speakers who come and say that Imam did not know what was going to happen to him. Imam didn't know where he was going. Imam didn't know what God's plan was for him. No, we totally reject that. Imam knew very, very clearly what's going to be happening to him. Right? Because he's the Imam. And there are several times, this is just one incident we're mentioning, several times where Imam gets knowledge of what's going to be happening to him. Anyway, Imam Hussein alayhi salam leaves Medina. Does he leave Medina alone?
Yeah. No.
By himself?
No.
No. Who did he go with? Bodyguards? Yeah,
Family.
Imam Hussein alayhi salam takes his family, his women, and his children with him. And we'll see why.
He takes his forge.
His forge, yes, correct. Imam takes his whole women and children. There are people who are asking this question, why are you taking your women and children? They were relatives of the Imam. Relatives of the Imam, and says, don't go. Why are you taking your women and children? We'll see the wisdom why Imam decides to take it. Anyway, as Imam alayhi salam is departing his holy city, Medina, he knows for the last time. Imam recites this ayah in the Quran. One thing I want to tell you, boys, remember this. This is another point that you have to remember. It's a very important point. Anything that the Imams did was exactly what the Quran wanted from them. Keep this in mind. What did I say? Anything that the Prophet ﷺ and the Imams did was exactly what the Quran wanted from them. Meaning, the path of Quran and the path of Ahlul Bayt is one path. It's not that Quran says do this, Ahlul Bayt do that. Never. Throughout the journey of Imam Hussein, he always was reciting Quran. It's like they're one. Quran and Ahlul Bayt are one. They're not separate. As Imam is leaving Medina, he recites a beautiful ayah from Surah, I think it's Qasas. Imam, can someone read this ayah for me? In Arabic? Yes? In Arabic? Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. فخرج منها
Yes?
what's the letter after?
فخرج منها خا
فخرج منها خائفا
خائفا
خائفا يترقب
MashaAllah. Please recite the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Does anyone want to recite the second half? Yes, please.
Rabbi najini minal qawmi zalimin.
MashaAllah. Allahumma salli ala. So this is an ayah about Prophet Musa alayhi salam. You know, when Prophet Musa was running away from Fir'aun, he was really scared. He was really frightened. He didn't know where he was going. He was just going towards a place called Madian, right? So he says, Prophet Musa would recite, فَخَرَجَ مِنْهَا. Prophet Musa alayhi salam left the city of Fir'aun, fearful, wary, looking around. Where are the enemies? I don't know who is. I can't trust anyone around me. This was the state of Imam Hussain alayhi salam when he was leaving Medina. Imam recites this ayah. Then Imam recites a dua, the same dua that Prophet Musa alayhi salam recited. See how Quran and Imams are the same? قَالَ رَبِّ نَجِّنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. Ya Allah, please save me from these bad people, from these evil people, right? So Imam recites this. Now, let's move on. This is a map that I want you to try and get an idea of where was Medina and where was Makkah and where was Karbala, right? So Imam alayhi salam was living in Medina. He leaves Medina after Yazid threatens him, right? Imam goes towards Makkah. That's where the Kaaba is, right? Imam stays in Makkah for a while, as we said, and then Karbala is up here. So as you can see, the Imam stops about 13 times at different spots before reaching Karbala. So just to give you an idea. Was there aeroplane at that time?
No.
How was Imam traveling? Yeah, either camels or either horses through deserts. So it was not a comfortable journey. Imam was with his family and children, right? No air condition, no like Uber Eats. Yeah, a very difficult journey, but Imam takes it. Why does Imam take it? To save Islam. For you and I to enjoy Islam. That's why Imam was doing it. Yes?
How did Imam get his food on those?
Maybe he had taken food maybe from Medina at the same time from Makkah. And I said that the places that he stopped at, these were all small villages or small towns. Maybe he got his food from there. Maybe. I don't know. But he was eating it. Yes. Which place?
How did Yazid come bad?
Sorry?
How did Yazid be bad?
Very good question. How did Yazid become bad? Let me give you a short answer, but there's a very long answer as well. Short answer is because his whole offspring, his father, his grandfather, his great-grandfather were all bad. So these were people who are not careful what they were eating, who they were, getting married to, what they would do in their day-to-day life. So they kept getting bad and bad and bad and bad. Right? So we got to be careful. If inshallah we keep ourselves pure, our offspring will also be pure. Right? Yes.
Oh, I heard something that Yazid has fighted in the tragedy of Karbala, or Yazid was just sitting down and asked his other people to fight. Did he fight with the
So he was not there himself. Yazid, no, he was just giving instructions from Damascus, from Sham. He was not there himself in Karbala. Right? Okay, so that's anyway. So this is just to give you an idea of where Imam Hussain alayhi salam left Medina. Anyway, let's move on. Question: Imam is where now? Which city is Imam in? Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Yes.
Makkah.
Very good. Anyone else has an answer? Different answer? Yes.
Right now, in our basic topic,
Yes.
we're speaking right now.
Yes.
He's in Makkah.
Very good.
Before he was in Medina, and now his grave is in Karbala.
Son, you gave me even more than what I wanted, but very good. So Imam alayhi salam is now in Makkah. Question: what does Imam alayhi salam do in Makkah? When does Imam alayhi salam arrive in Makkah? Right. So let's look. Imam alayhi salam arrives Makkah on the 3rd of Sha'ban. Okay. So there was about 5 or 6 days of traveling from Medina coming to Makkah. From the distance, when Imam alayhi salam sees the mountains of Makkah, he recites another beautiful ayah from the Holy Quran where Imam says, وَلَمَّا تَوَجَّهَ تِلْقَاءَ مَدْيَنَ. This is the same ayah that Prophet Musa alayhi salam had recited when he reached Madian, when he was running away from Fir'aun. So Imam Hussain sees the mountains of Makkah, he recites the same ayah Prophet Musa recited. And then he says, Asa Rabbi an yahdiyani sawa as-sabil. may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide me to the right path. Okay? So just to give you an idea, that Imam was always reciting Quran. The movement of Imam was inspired by the Quran. That is the word. Yes?
What is the meaning of that ayat?
Yes. So وَلَمَّا تَوَجَّهَ تِلْقَاءَ مَدْيَنَ, when he turned his face towards Madian, this is Prophet Musa alayhi salam, when he looked towards Madian, he recited this dua, Asa Rabbi, may Allah, may my Lord guide me towards the right path. Okay, this is what Imam Hussain alayhi salam recited. Anyway, let's move on. As soon as Imam alayhi salam reaches Makkah, all the Shias in Makkah started coming to visit Imam Hussain alayhi salam. There was a certain person's Shia's house Imam was based in, and people were flocking Imam and coming to visit him, the grandson of the Holy Prophet. We want you, we are waiting for you to come. So they were very excited that Imam Hussain alayhi salam was in Makkah. Now, whilst Imam was in Makkah, Imam begins to get lots of messages from his Shias in Kufa. Was it Kufa on the map there? Yes, so from here. So Imam is here. From Kufa, people hear that Muawiyah has passed away, and this, messed up guy Yazid has taken power. So they said, no, we don't want Yazid. We can't stand Yazid. No, we have to uprise against Yazid. So they started writing messages to Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Message after message after message. There were people who were saying that there was, the bags of letters were being delivered to Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Oh, Imam, we can't wait to see you. We can't wait to support you. We can't wait to host you, etc., etc., etc. You know how we say, Allahumma ajjil li waliyika al-faraj? Oh Allah, hasten the reappearance of Imam Mahdi. Hasten, hasten, hasten. Similarly, the people of Kufa, the Shias of Kufa were saying, oh Imam, please come quickly. So whilst Imam was in Makkah, he's getting all these emails. Email. Was the email there?
No.
No, he was getting letters. Yes.
Was it by a bird or did they walk there?
No bird, no bird. There were people, there were messengers. Messengers who are sending messages, not by bird. Yes.
I also heard on the day of Ashura, when they were trying to show Yazid, when the Imam said had no companions left, he ordered the people to blow the letters to see if any people of Kufa realized what they've done.
Fantastic, mashallah, beautiful, very good point. And Imam Aisha mentions this on the day of Ashura as well. Very good, right? Anyway, Imam gets all these letters. How does Imam Hussain respond? Imam writes a letter and sends it to Kufa. I've got the translation of the letter. Let's look at it very quickly. Now, Imam Aisha says, we're going to read from, maybe we'll read from here. So Imam says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's a very short letter, but a very powerful letter, okay? He says, I have received your letters. I've got your messages. I've got all the welcomes and everything. And I've noted what you have mentioned about your eagerness for me to come. I understand that you guys are very anxious and eager for me to come to you. And I'm sending to you my cousin. This is an important point. Imam says, I'm not going to come at the moment. I will send my cousin by the name of Muslim ibn Aqil to you, the representative of the Imam, my very dear cousin. So what does Muslim need to do? So that he can come to Kufa and assess the situation, then monitor the situation, see how much support Imam Hussain will get in Kufa, right? Anyway, this is, if your situation, look at this point. Boys, are you listening? Is it boring?
No.
We can change the channel. Not boring? Look what Imam says. Imam says that if your situation is indeed as you have described it to me in your letters, you guys are saying that you're really desperate, the city is dark without the presence of the Imam. If it's really the way you are describing it, then I will come to you without delay. I will not delay. I will come to you without delay. Right? So then he tells Muslim ibn Aqil, his cousin, that Muslim ibn Aqil had accompanied, who had come with Imam alayhi salam from Medina to Makkah. He says to Muslim, oh cousin, I want you to go to Kufa and find out what the people there are like. Right? If it is as they have described in the letters, then send me a message immediately and I will come. But if you realize that no, these people of Kufa are liars, they're deceiving, they're not really, they're hypocrites, they don't really mean what they are saying, Then he tells Muslim ibn Aqil, you come back to Makkah immediately. So are you getting the situation now, this story? Yes?
What are the hypocrites?
Good. Hypocrite is someone who says something, but his heart believes the opposite. So hypocrite for Kufa would be, oh Imam, come, we really want you. But in their heart, they don't really mean it. That's a hypocrite. That's like a liar.
Then why are they asking?
Good point. Very good. We'll see what changed. Question, what changed? Right? The question is, we are waiting for our 12th Imam. Imam al-Hujjah. Right? We want our Imam to come. Why? Because there's so much oppression happening, there's so much injustice happening. We want our Imam to come. And we're always saying, Allahumma kulli walik al-faraj. Allahumma ajil li oh Imam, come. Every time we say Allahumma ajil li walik al-faraj, it's like we are sending a message to Imam. Oh Imam, come. Question is, if Imam comes, are we ready? Do we really mean what we're saying? Good question, not a good question.
You deserve book.
You saw second book. Thank you very much. All right, let's move on. So Imam Hussein Islam sends his cousin Muslim ibn Aqil to Kufa. Muslim ibn Aqil, without any questions, he didn't ask Imam, are you sure I should go? Imam, do you think you can find somewhere else to go? No. When his Imam tells him to do something, Muslim ibn Aqil was totally submissive, totally obedient to his Imam. He didn't ask Imam, will my life be safe in Kufa? Is it a comfortable place to go? No, he was a man on a mission, Muslim ibn Aqil. He is the hero. Without the efforts of, we can't remember Karbala without remembering Muslim ibn Aqil. He is the gem, that obedient companion of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Right? These are our role models, boys. These are our role models. Right? They didn't care about anything. Once the Imam have told them to do something, they'll do it. Yes?
What other things did Muslim ibn Aqil do?
Sorry?
What other things could Muslim do?
Okay, you will come to it. He's taught, I'll tell you what he does. Okay? Now let's move on. This is the second last point. We're almost to the end of it. I know you guys are really tired. It's easy to speak, but it's hard to listen. So you guys are doing a really good job. Muslim ibn Aqil arrives in Kufa. As soon as he arrives in Kufa, everyone was like super happy. The sun has risen in Kufa. MashaAllah, oh, we love you. They had written 18,000 letters to Imam Hussein and the people of Kufa. 18,000 letters were sent to Imam Hussein. Oh, Imam, come. When Muslim comes, people gather around him, super happy, super excited that the representative of the Imam has come. As soon as Yazid realizes that Muslim ibn Aqil, the cousin of Imam Hussein, is gathering a lot of support in Kufa, he changes the governor of Kufa. Nu'man ibn Bashir was the governor of Kufa. He was a really soft man. He wasn't doing anything. Yazid said, nah, get out of there, get Ubaidullah ibn Yazid. Ubaidullah ibn Yazid was the governor in Basra, a real big criminal. He tells Ubaidullah, my friend, you go there and sort the matter out. I cannot see people gathering around Muslim ibn Aqil. Yes?
Was Ubaidullah Yazid's uncle's son?
Maybe the brothers can help me. Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, Wabda Marjana. He was the...
called himself the son of Muawiyah, but he was actually a bastard.
Okay. So there was a relationship. I'll look into that even more. Yes.
I was told that there's two Yazids.
Yes, there are.
Yes.
Muawiyah's son.
Yes.
Muawiyah's son's uncle is named Yazid.
Okay. I don't know. I have to check. Maybe again the brothers can help me. I don't know. So Yazid ibn Muawiyah is one. He's the guy we're talking about, right? He's the guy we're talking about. There is another Yazid. Yes. Question is who he is, what he is, what did he do? I don't know. I have to mind.
Muawiyah's brother.
Okay.
Muawiyah's elder brother was Khalifa of Sham before Muawiyah took over.
Right.
He was hired or he was elected at the time of Umar ibn Khattab.
Okay.
And then he died like 3 years later. And then after 3 years, Muawiyah took over.
Okay.
He was also a son of Abu Sufyan.
Okay. So Yazid ibn Abu Sufyan. Okay. So good question. Thank you. I need to read up more. Anyone else has a question? So where were we up to? Yes.
Do you know my name?
Do you know what?
Do you know my name?
No, I don't know your name.
How you get the book then?
Yeah, that's asking very difficult questions. Inshallah, after today, I'll remember your name. You've been asking so many questions. All right. So Muslim arrives in Kufa, and people were very happy that the representative Imam is there. So Yazid appoints a really ruthless guy by the name of Ubayd. As soon as Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad comes into Kufa, first of all, he was so cunning that he pretended when he entered Kufa, he pretended as if it's Imam Hussein coming into Kufa. Because the people of Kufa were expecting Imam Hussein also to come. So as soon as the people of Kufa start seeing this entourage, this caravan coming in, like really fancy, they thought it was Imam Hussein. But it was Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. As soon as he comes and takes power, he does two things. Number one, he says that whoever I find associating or befriending or being company with Muslim ibn Aqil will be killed. No one is allowed to be friends or a companion or to be seen supporting or in association with Muslim ibn Aqil. Right? So he started having this propaganda. Imagine posters everywhere in the city saying Muslim ibn Aqil is the most wanted man in this city. So everyone was like, what? Muslim ibn Aqil is a bad guy? According to Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, yes, no one should be even close to him. So slowly, gradually, all the support that Muslim ibn Aqil has starts getting little and less. That's one. Secondly, he goes to Ubaydullah goes to the women of the supporters of Muslim and says, why is your husband supporting Muslim? What is it that you want? Why is your son supporting Muslim? Why is your brother supporting Muslim? What is it that you want? You want money? I will sort you out. So he started giving money to these people. And then the women would tell their husbands, why are you supporting them? Right? So Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad would tell the women, tell your husband to give me his sword, to come to the palace and drop off his sword, and I'll give you all this money. So gradually, slowly, all these Shi'as who had written letters to the Imam of their time, all these Shi'as who warmly welcomed Muslim ibn Aqil, now when they started receiving threats, they said, you know what, nah, this is not worth it. I can't support this guy because I'm going to lose my business, I'm going to lose my house, I'm going to lose my life, I'm going to lose my kids. I can't do this. Now, this is your answer. Did they actually mean what they were saying? No, because see how they've changed. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad enforces a curfew in the city of Kufa. Curfew meaning no one will be seen walking out of their homes after 9 o'clock at night. Because he knew Muslim ibn Aqil had no house. So Muslim ibn Aqil will be the only one on the streets of Kufa, and therefore we'll find him and we'll kill him. The city of Kufa, all of a sudden, it's like there's pin drop silence in the city. No one wants to know who Muslim is. Inshallah, as the Musibah, as the Masaib, I will recite the story of Muslim. Okay, anyway, let's move on. Muslim gets killed by Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. This is the month of Hajj, Dhul Hijjah. Muslim gets killed on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. On the other side, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, when Muslim had seen that the Kufans were very responsive and receptive and warm, Muslim sends a letter to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Oh Imam, these Shias in Kufa are ready for you. Imam receives the letter. On the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, Muslim gets killed on the 9th. On the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, Yawm Tarwiyah, Imam Hussein alayhi salam with his family members leaves Makkah, heading towards Kufa. Karbala was not in the equation yet. Inshallah, in the next session, we'll talk about Karbala. Imam Hussein heads towards, let's see, Imam Hussein alayhi salam leaves Makkah, he's heading towards Kufa. Okay? Right. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam now is heading towards Kufa. And the last thing for today is the question. This was the month of Hajj, where hundreds of thousands of people would gather in Makkah to perform Hajj. Question. Why did Imam, and I think this was the question for today, why is that Imam Hussein alayhi salam leaves Makkah at such a important time? Couldn't Imam Hussein alayhi salam finish Hajj and then leave? Remember, Imam who knew this would be his last Hajj. Yes. Someone who hasn't answered. They've answered. The brothers there, what do you think? Why did Imam Hussein leave Makkah during the peak season of Hajj? If you are in Makkah at the time of Hajj, would you leave? Why did Imam leave? Yes, brother at the back.
Because you didn't want bloodshed and the bloodshed in the ground.
Fantastic. That's the short answer. That's the correct answer. So Imam Hussein, in fact, Yazid had appointed 30 Hujjaj, 30 pilgrims, disguised as Hujjaj, disguised as pilgrims, but seeking Imam Hussein. They were dressed as in ihram, you know, the white cloth that they wear in ihram. They were dressed as pilgrims, but they were Yazid's men to catch Imam Hussein, to kill Imam Hussein in Makkah. And Makkah, of course, is a dignified land. It's an honorable land. It's a you say Masjidul Haram. Masjidul Haram meaning it is a holy mosque. Imam says, I do not want bloodshed, my blood, to be spilled in a place like Makkah. It's not worth it. So therefore, Imam leaves Makkah. Yes. Yes.
Why do we like not buy Makkah? Because it's not worth it.
Sorry, so I didn't understand. Say again, please.
Why did he like? He said it was not worth it.
Yes.
But why?
No, sorry. When I mean not Makkah being such a, it's the house of God, right? The Kaaba is there. There were Hujjaj there. It's a very holy place. Imam Hussein did not want any killing of innocent people, of his blood, because it's not only Imam Hussein going to be killed. His family members will be killed. There will be an uprising. There will be chaos in the city. So many people will die. So much blood will be spilled. Imam said, if they are after my blood, let's do it outside Makkah, not in this holy city. Make sense? Right? So that's why Imam Hussein leaves Makkah. Now, there's a bit of a scholarly discussion, maybe for the respected brothers, that Imam Hussein initially intended Hajj and then changed his niyyah to Umrah. There's this difference of opinion amongst some of our scholars that Imam Hussein actually started off the Hajj, did Umrah Tamattu, and then changed his intention to, started with intention of Hajj and then changed it to Umrah Mufrida. So our scholars have a difference. So some of them say, no, Imam did not intend Hajj to begin with. Imam went in with Umrah knowing that he will not be able to complete his Hajj anyway. So Imam goes in with the intention of Umrah Mufrida, not Umrah Tamattu. Because with Umrah Tamattu, you cannot exit on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah before Hajj is complete. You have to take off your ihram, you need to slaughter a sheep as kafara before you leave. And there's no evidence that Imam did this. So some of the scholars say, which is perhaps a sound opinion in terms of the evidence that we have, Imam Hussein intended Umrah Mufrida to begin with. Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. Imam leaves Makkah. Now, finally, let's just summarize this very quickly. I know you're tired. 15th of Rajab, yes, Muawiyah dies. Yazid takes over the Khilafah at the age of 34. On the 28th of Rajab, which is 2 weeks later, Imam Hussein leaves Medina for Makkah. Imam stays in Makkah for about 4 months and 5 days. And then Imam Hussein leaves Makkah towards Kufa. As Imam Hussein is leaving Makkah, the next day, Muslim ibn Aqil gets killed by Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. Now, few minutes, inshallah, I want to recite the tragedy that happened to Muslim ibn Aqil. Look at this very loyal soldier of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. If you can please help me with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajah. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulallah. Sallallahu alaykum ya Ahl Baytin Nubuwwah. So it said that when Muslim arrives in Kufa, he receives a very warm welcome, and as soon as Muslim sees this warm welcome, he sends a message to Imam Hussein. He says, "Oh Imam, please come to Kufa, your Shias are ready for you." As we said, Ibn Ziyad comes and starts threatening the Shias that whoever is going to befriend Muslim will get killed. Gradually and slowly, Muslim Ibn Aqil, the reports say that he was leading his salah in Masjidul Kufa, and there were lots of Shias behind him. By the end of that salah of Muslim Ibn Aqil, he turns around and he sees there's no one. behind it. So all those Shias who thought they will give their support, they deserted Muslim. Why? Because they were scared of the threats of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. They forgot about the mission of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Anyway, Muslim finds himself walking all alone in the streets of Kufa. No one wanted to hear his name. No one wanted to support him, nothing. Muslim walks around all the while thinking that Imam Hussein alayhi salam is now heading towards Kufa. And he was thinking in the heart, how can I tell my Imam not to come to this place? Because these people are all liars. How can I tell my Imam and his family not to come towards Kufa? So Muslim finds himself walking along the streets in Kufa. He becomes thirsty and tired. He was all alone. As we said, there was a curfew. No one was else seen walking in the streets of Kufa. He sits by one of the doors to take some rest. He was sitting on the door and someone opened the door. The person in the house, the lady opens the door. She said, "Oh stranger, who are you? The city is dangerous. What are you sitting here and doing on my doorstep?" He said, "I'm alone, I'm gharib, I'm stranger, there's no one here to help me." "Who are you?" He said, "My name is Muslim ibn Aqil. I'm the cousin of Hussein ibn Ali." As soon as this woman hears the name of Hussein ibn Ali, her heart drops. She was a genuine lover of the Ahlul Bayt. She loved the Holy Prophet. She loved the Ahlul Bayt. She said, "Oh my God, this is your state, the cousin of Hussein ibn Ali, the grandson of the Holy Prophet? Come into my house. Please come into my house. I'm going to give you refuge. I'm going to protect you." Muslim said, "No, the city is very dangerous. If they find out, they're going to destroy." She said, "No, nothing. Look at the support towards the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. She didn't care about her life. She didn't care about her money. She didn't care about her comfort. She cared about supporting the mission of Imam Hussein alayhi salam." Okay? Let's move on. I'll finish this, inshallah, then maybe I can take your question, okay? Muslim ibn Aqil spends the rest of the night in this house of the lady. Now, Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad had told the people of Kufa that whoever finds Muslim ibn Aqil, I'm going to give them a big reward. I'm going to give them a lot of money, whoever finds Muslim ibn Aqil. Now, this lady's son, her name was Tawa. This lady's son was a person who was very much wanted money. He wanted this dunya. He was very greedy. And he had some ties with Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad and his covenant. When he comes into the house, he realizes that Muslim ibn Aqil is in my house. So he said, "You know what, this is perfect. I'm going to act as if I'm befriending him, but I'm going to go and report to Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad that the person that you've been looking for is actually in my house." So this guy, again, a person who was not interested in the Ahlul Bayt, he was interested in this world, goes to Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad and says, "The person you're looking for is in my house." Muslim ibn Aqil spends the rest of the night in talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in dua, in crying to Allah, in asking for forgiveness, in praying for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. You could hear his tasbih, being in ruku, being in sujood. They say till towards the time of Fajr, Muslim ibn Aqil was in munajat and whispering with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This true lover of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. This person didn't think of anything except for his Imam. At the time of Fajr or just before Fajr, Muslim begins to hear the hooves of the horses of the enemies getting louder and louder and louder. Now he knows that his time is up. But he was a warrior, remember? He is a soldier. He was super brave, super courageous. Muslim ibn Aqil thanks Taw'a for the help. He comes out of the house and faces the enemies. The enemies try to destroy him, try to kill him, try to capture him, but Muslim ibn Aqil, because he was this true warrior, he destroys all these enemies. The enemies call Ibn Ziyad and says, "We need backup. We need more soldiers." Ibn Ziyad says, "I just sent you to kill one person. How many people do you need?" He said, "He's got the blood of Ali running in his body. He's not an ordinary soldier. He's not a normal person." Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad sends more people. And of course, when you have so many people to fight, you are tired, you are thirsty, eventually they may end up capturing Muslim. And they drag him all the way to the palace of Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad looks at him and says, "Why did you do what you did?" Muslim Ibn Aqil said, this is my mission to protect the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. What do you want, O Muslim, before I kill you? Muslim Ibn Aqil says, I want two things. One is I want some water to drink. They said, when I said, okay, give him some water. As soon as they said, the report said that he takes the bowl of water closer to his mouth, because he was bleeding for him in his mouth, the blood falls into the bowl and Muslim can't drink. Give him another bowl, blood falls, he can't drink. It's as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Muslim, just wait, I will quench you from the water in heaven. So Muslim doesn't drink anymore. What else do you want? Ibn Ziyad asked. He said, please send my master a message not to come to Kufa. Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad says, forget it. That's not happening. What else do you want? One other thing that he said is, I've got a few debts to pay. I've got some money to pay people. Pay this money to these people. Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad makes a joke out of it, mocks him. Right? See how careful these lovers of the Ahlul Bayt are, boys, about the rights that they have on others. At that very moment, he remembers that I need to pay money to someone. I promised someone that I have to pay them money. I need to pay them. Right? He didn't forget his rights towards others. Anyway, they take Muslim Ibn Aqil right to the roof of the palace for the whole city of Kufa to see what Ibn Ziyad is capable of doing. They see that Muslim Ibn Aqil was crying. So one of the soldiers asks Muslim Ibn Aqil, are you scared of death that you're crying? Are you scared of death? Muslim says, Bukai ala Mawlaya Aba Abdullah. He said, I am crying because I know that my master is coming to this vicious city, and therefore I'm crying. The report said that Muslim, towards the last moments of his life, he turns towards Makkah, towards the direction of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and sends his last salams to his master. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And the report said that Muslim Ibn Aqil was killed in a very bad way, and his body was thrown over from the palace for everyone to see how bad these guys are. Inshallah. Inshallah, from the next session, I think we'll continue this journey from how Imam Hussain ended up, inshallah, in Karbala. Yes.
Bless you for your inspiration, for this speech.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. Awesome. Thank you so much. These boys are making.
And Mata.
Ji.
And since you are here, if somebody wants to ask a question, they can ask you.
After the Mata?
Yeah.
Okay. Inshallah.
While we are having food, they can
Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much. Inshallah, remember, keep.
Baba